The small town of Ravenswood was shrouded in an eerie silence as dusk settled over its narrow streets. Chris, a young and curious journalist, had just moved there for a fresh start. Drawn by the town's history of unexplained occurrences, he hoped to uncover the mysteries that lingered in the shadows. Chris rented an old Victorian house at the edge of town, a place that seemed to have an unsettling history. The previous owners had left in a hurry, leaving behind whispers of strange sightings and ghostly figures. Undeterred by the rumors, Chris decided to make it his home. As he settled in, strange things began to happen. Whispers echoed through the empty corridors, and Chris would catch glimpses of fleeting shadows from the corner of his eye. He dismissed these occurrences as mere products of an overactive imagination, until he stumbled upon an old diary hidden in the attic. The diary belonged to Emily, a former resident of the house who mysteriously disappeared decades ago. Her entries detailed a malevolent force that seemed to feed off fear, growing stronger with each passing generation. Chris couldn't shake the feeling that the presence described in the diary was still very much alive. Determined to unravel the truth, Chris delved deeper into Ravenswood's history. He discovered a pattern of unexplained disappearances that stretched back for centuries. The townspeople, tight-lipped and uneasy, refused to speak about the dark secrets that lurked beneath the surface. One evening, as Chris was poring over old newspaper clippings in the local archives, he found a faded photograph. It sent shivers down his spine. A group of townspeople from the past, each face marked with terror, standing in front of his very house. Among them was Emily, her eyes pleading for help. The date on the photograph matched the day she vanished. Haunted by the discovery, Chris became consumed by a sense of foreboding. The diary hinted at a ritual that could break the curse, but it required sacrifices that echoed through the ages. The townspeople had been unwitting pawns in a sinister game, and Chris was determined to end it. Chris gathered the scattered pieces of the puzzle, determined to confront the malevolent force that gripped Ravenswood. He sought out the oldest residents, coaxing them to reveal the town's long-buried secrets. Each revelation sent a chill down his spine. The curse was tied to a tragic event in Ravenswood's past, a forbidden love that ended in betrayal and death. The malevolent force, a vengeful spirit, sought retribution for the sins committed centuries ago. The ritual described in Emily's diary was the only way to appease the spirit and break the cycle of darkness. Armed with this knowledge, Chris enlisted the help of a few brave souls willing to challenge the shadows that plagued their town. Together, they deciphered the ritual's intricacies and identified the sacrifices required to banish the vengeful spirit. The task ahead was harrowing, and the townspeople trembled at the thought of confronting the darkness that had haunted them for so long. As the night of the ritual approached, Ravenswood descended into an unsettling stillness. The air was thick with tension, and the shadows seemed to grow more menacing. Chris, guided by the cryptic instructions in the diary, led the group to the town's long-forgotten cemetery. In the heart of the graveyard, they began the ritual, a somber and ancient dance that echoed with the weight of centuries. The night became a battleground between the living and the vengeful spirit, as the sacrifices were made in the hope of breaking the curse. The air crackled with energy, and the townspeople held their breath, waiting for a sign that their ordeal was finally over. But just as they believed the ritual had succeeded, an ominous laughter echoed through the cemetery. The vengeful spirit, far from appeased, manifested in a swirling vortex of darkness. It spoke with Emily's voice, revealing the true extent of the tragedy that had befallen Ravenswood. Chris, undeterred, faced the spirit head-on, armed with the knowledge that forgiveness was the key to breaking the curse. In a heart-wrenching plea, he spoke of understanding and compassion, acknowledging the pain that had festered for centuries. The spirit wavered, torn between vengeance and the possibility of release. As the first light of dawn touched the horizon, the vengeful spirit dissipated, leaving behind an exhausted but triumphant group of townspeople. Ravenswood, freed from the shackles of its dark past, slowly came back to life. The shadows retreated, and the town's residents dared to hope for a future unburdened by the weight of ancient curses. The story of Chris and Ravenswood became a cautionary tale, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of malevolent forces. The locals spoke of it in hushed whispers, claiming it was haunted. One gloomy evening, driven by curiosity and a sense of adventure, Albert decided to explore the mysterious house. The mansion loomed in the distance, its windows shattered and doors creaking in the wind. Albert hesitated for a moment before pushing the rusted gate open. As he stepped onto the overgrown path, an eerie chill ran down his spine. The air seemed thick with an unsettling energy. The door groaned as Albert pushed it open, revealing a dark and dusty foyer. A faint odor of decay lingered in the air. Undeterred, Albert pressed on, his footsteps echoing through the silent halls. He felt as though unseen eyes were watching his every move. The mansion revealed its secrets slowly. In a forgotten room, Albert discovered old photographs and letters. They hinted at a tragic tale of a family torn apart by betrayal and greed. The more Albert uncovered, the more entangled he became in the web of the mansion's dark history. Late one night, as Albert delved deeper into the mansion, he heard whispers echoing through the corridors. Flickering candlelight illuminated ghostly figures in old-fashioned attire. The air grew colder, and a disembodied voice murmured, "Leave this place, or face the consequences." Undeterred, Albert pressed on, determined to unravel the mystery. Little did he know that the mansion held more than just forgotten memories. The following days found Albert consumed by his quest to uncover the truth. His nights were haunted by restless dreams, and the whispers seemed to follow him wherever he went. Despite the warnings, Albert couldn't resist the pull of the mansion, driven by an unexplainable force. One evening, Albert stumbled upon a hidden chamber concealed behind a bookshelf. The room was filled with antique furniture covered in dusty sheets. In the center stood an ornate mirror that seemed to reflect more than just the dimly lit room. As Albert gazed into it, the air thickened and the whispers intensified. The mirror revealed glimpses of a bygone era, a family torn apart by betrayal and tragedy. Albert watched in horror as the ghostly figures reenacted the events that led to their demise. He saw the patriarch's greed, the sibling rivalry, and the desperate plea for forgiveness that went unanswered. As Albert tried to make sense of the spectral visions, he felt a cold hand on his shoulder. He turned to find himself face to face with a ghostly figure, a young woman with hollow eyes and a tattered dress. She pointed towards the mirror, her voice a faint whisper, "Help us find peace." Compelled by an inexplicable sense of duty, Albert vowed to uncover the truth and bring closure to the tormented souls trapped within the mansion. Little did he know that the sinister force that bound them was stronger than he could have ever imagined. Determined to bring peace to the restless spirits, Albert delved even deeper into the mansion's history. The ghostly figures guided him, leading him to hidden rooms and forgotten passages. Albert meticulously pieced together the puzzle of the family's tragic fate, uncovering a tale of betrayal, greed, and a long-buried secret. One stormy night, as Albert delved into the mansion's archives, he discovered a hidden letter. The parchment spoke of a cursed artifact, an ancient family heirloom that fueled the darkness within the mansion. The letter hinted that destroying the artifact might free the spirits bound by its malevolent influence.